You shout it out, but I can't hear a word you say. I'm talking loud, not saying much.
I'd like to acknowledge the arrival of our good friend, my compadre, Butch Valdes here. At si Butch ay meron din radio program every Sunday at ako'y listener nito.
Dito po sa Federalism, kami po ay kami sa Save the Nation ay hindi tumututol siyempre sa move towards federalism. However, I just as a basis for moving towards that, hindi po kami nag-agree na sasabihin na palitan na natin ng sistema ng form of government because it seems that the old one didn't work. Sa amin pong palagay, the old one didn't work because the people that were running government were not competent enough to address the issues that affected the whole country, specifically sa infrastructure requirements. Kami po sa Save the Nation ay naniniwala na especially for Mindanao, which is really the crux of the matter, which has been calling very strongly for a federalized form of government. The infrastructure requirements of Mindanao has really been not given proper attention to, and that we feel that if it was, then the idea of federalization may not be as inviting to others as it is already now. So, with that as it may, if the people want federalism because of what had happened before and not because of what could happen in the future, especially for development of infrastructure, then so be it. Let there be federalism if that's what the people want. But I would just a word of caution. Before we change the form, we must first look at the substance. And if the substance means what is it that we want our country to be as a whole, in let's say the next 10 years, the next 20 years. If we know where we're going and what we want our country to be at those points, then we decide what form of government will bring us there. Rather than decide on the form now and later on find out that it's not going to bring us to what we feel the whole country should be. There are others that have wanted federalism because central government has basically abdicated its role to develop the whole country. They have just completely ignored what their role is for the whole country. Now, and they are people, especially the previous administration, that didn't really have a vision as to what our country should be in the future. When I say that, what level of industrialization and production should the whole country be in at a certain level? When you say you want jobs for everybody, how are you going to do this? No? Not just federalization. There must be something in as far as the economic program is concerned, no, that will generate the jobs. No? Not just continuously send our people abroad, despite the fact that war is already happening in these areas. We must say, my daughter, who is 5 years old now, or should have the kind of job that is worthy of what education we can give her. No? Hindi yung paaral siya maging engineero, tapos she will end up as a call center agent or eventually a prostitute, right? Hindi po ganyan. No? What we want is something to that effect. So once you have that, then let us decide what is the best form of government that will bring us there. No? And then if the people decide federalism, then okay, at least all of us are in the same page, rather than kanya-kanya. Nagpe-federalize tayo dahil kinalimutan na tayong central government, bahala na tayo sa sarili natin. And that's the first step towards a disintegration of the republic. Diba po? If that is our reason. If our reason for unification is federalization, then let's go about it. No? But if our reason for federalization is because we were forgotten, no? This president is saying no. We're unifying the country. So let's move towards that. That's just my idea in this federalization. On the part of nuclear, our organization, Save the Nation, has been, well, one of the principal advocates for restarting the nuclear power plant because we saw what it had done. I am of that age, and some of you are too, that saw what had happened prior to the EDSA-1 and again after the EDSA-1. There was I am a certified public accountant. I used to run an accounting firm that audited something like 3,000 clients. So we had a fair idea as to how the economy was functioning. And we saw a complete deterioration, a complete and dramatic deterioration of the capacity of our economy to sustain the population. I mean that in a very real sense. Kasi po, nag-shift ang ating idea before from being a productive economy, that means we will be producing goods, no? That means we were moving towards industrialization and agro-industrialization. And then all of a sudden, after we became a service economy, all of a sudden we said it's in now to be culinary cooks or chefs. No? It's because that is what was provided. That was it. It's in now to be called what you call this service caregivers, nurses, right? And everything was service oriented. And so this is the way we should do it: export our people to become that, domestic helpers and so on and so forth. There were a few who were engineers, but the engineers were not of service here. They were of service other countries, no? Because others were producing goods, others were and also paying more. So, anong nangyari sa bayan natin? We became service economy that doesn't produce anything. Therefore, we could not sustain ourselves. And we had to open up our country so that we can import the goods and pray that this OFW send us enough money to buy in these malls. Hindi po ba ganyan ang nangyari? No? Now that is not an economy. That is not how a republic should function. No? We must be able to sustain ourselves. We must be able to feed ourselves. And we must be able to, we have the capability to generate the kind of goods and industries that will sustain a continuous improvement of the quality of life of our people. That is our objective, hindi po ba? No? Ayaw natin na the next generation, tayo ngayon ay driver, the next generation, prostitute na yung mga daughters natin. Ayaw naman natin yun, di ba? Pababa. We want toward promotion. And this is what we want. Now, infrastructure, if we want that, that means you decide to go industrialization, agro-industrialization. No amount of industrialization dream will ever happen if we don't address the infrastructure requirements. And the most primary infrastructure requirement of our country is energy. Do you know that just the other day I was talking to the president of Toshiba, Philippines, and we were talking about energy, and he says, you know, in Japan, we are paying, he says, in Japan, we are paying 20%, no, the Philippines, here in the Philippines, the Philippines is paying 20% higher than we are paying in Japan. Can you imagine that? That is a shocker, because everybody knows that Japan is the most expensive city in the world. It pays the highest in all aspects, and yet we outdo them when it comes to electricity and energy, in cost of energy. This is shocking. And what is happening now, for whoever is running the economy, whoever is imposing these things on us, what is happening now is they are seeing how much patience the Filipinos can withstand, in this level of quality of life. Excuse me. Hanggang saan ba kakayanin ng tao at papayagan ba natin? Buti na lang nagpalit tayo ng administrasyon, dahil at least nung dumating itong taong to, maski na kasama na lahat ng expletives, sa totoo lang po, sabihin na natin, sabi niya kay, excuse me sabi niya kay Obama, go to hell. Alam niyo po, sa lahat ng mundo ngayon, siguro ang dapat nasa impyerno talaga si Obama. Dahil sa mga ginagawa niya ngayon. Lahat-lahat ng ginagawa niya. At kung tatanungin ako, tama ba yung sinabi niya? Oo. Presidente ng Amerika yun. Ewan ko, wala akong pakialam. Baka napaksama niya . At dinadala tayo sa gera ngayon. Pati tayo. Anyway, I'm sorry, I might be overextending, but this is going back to going back to energy. If you've got energy, affordable, clean, and reliable energy, that will be the basis. And if you're, when I say affordable, pag sinabi natin pumasok tayo sa nuclear, hindi naman at the expense of others. If the others want to join in, because we need always a mix of energy generation systems, then let it go. But not to the exclusion of nuclear. Because science, this is what science had done for us. It brought us precisely to this era where the creative mind of human beings were able to discover that by bumping atoms together and splitting them, you generate energy, right? And from this, instead of using it as a bomb, which they did, which America did in Hiroshima, we now are saying we can use it for the good of mankind. And that was 70 years ago. And we decided to go into this some 45 years ago, right? But we also decided to scuttle it and go back to revert back into what we now have. Every Sunday I've got the 2-hour radio program in DZXL 558 AM radio, 7 o'clock in the evening. Ang programa po ay ang ating katunan. At we discuss economic matters, local and international. We discuss whatever is happening here and the impact of whatever is happening outside to our country. Yan po ang madalas natin tinatalakay. It's interactive. You can call, you can send your text messages, and we react to it.
Galaw-gaw, kay harot-harot tingnan maliksi, di mapigil ang gaslaw. Galaw-gaw, ang lahat ginagalaw, napakaharot at pakialam. Galaw-gaw, kung tawagin siya'y ganyan, kang karot, na trumpong tumatarang. Galaw-gaw, nakalilitong masdan at haliparot.